It's Lindley Oz, and what you see here on the screen is an artist's rendition of the Hellhound of Suffolk. Now, just the other day, archaeologists believe that they have found the remains of the Hellhound. Now, let me explain to you some of the um, stories behind the Hellhound so that you understand. It says archaeologists have discovered the skeleton of a massive dog that would have stood 7 feet tall on its hind legs in the ruins of Leiston Abbey in Suffolk, England, according to a news report in the Express. The remains are near where an ancient legend spoke of a hellhound called Black Shuck, said to have flaming red eyes and a rugged black coat, who terrorized villagers. The name Shuck derives from the Old English word skucka, meaning demon. He is one of many ghostly black dogs recorded across the British Isles. Its alleged appearance during a storm on August 4th, 1577, at the Holy Trinity Church in Blythburgh is a particularly famous account of the beast, in which legend says that thunder caused the doors of the church to burst open, and the snarling dog crashed in and ran through the congregation, killing a man and a boy, where it fled when the steeple collapsed. The encounter on the same day at St. Mary's Church, Bungay, was described in A Strange and Terrible Wonder. I believe that it is meant to say A Strange and Terrible Wonder, by the Reverend Abraham Fleming in 1577. And here's a quote. This black dog, or the devil in such a likeness, God he knoweth all who worketh all, running all along down the body of the church with great swiftness and incredible haste, among the people in a visible form and shape, passed between two persons as they were kneeling upon their knees, and occupied in prayer, as it seemed, wrung the necks of them both at one instant clean backward, insomuch that even at a moment where they kneeled, they strangely died. Brendan Wilkins, projects director of archaeological group Dig Ventures, said, most of these legends about dogs may have some roots in reality. The remains of the massive dog, which is estimated to have weighed 200 pounds, were found just a few miles from the two churches where Black Shuck killed the worshippers. It appears to have been buried in a shallow grave at precisely the same time as Shuck is said to have been on the loose, primarily around Suffolk in the East Anglia region. And here's a photo of the remains. The remains of the huge dog found in Leiston Abbey, or Leiston, not sure which, Suffolk. Radiocarbon dating tests will be carried out to give an exact age for the bones, which will either serve to enhance the hellhound stories or support the far less exciting theory that it is an abbot's old hunting dog. Regardless of the outcome, it is unlikely to change the iconography of the local area, which relies on stories of Black Shuck to attract curious visitors. So, hellhound or not, well, they're going to do the carbon dating, so I guess we'll find out. Needless to say, it's not going to change the stories of the locals in that area who, as we just read, like to attract visitors by the spooky stories. And then here we have medieval bishops' theory resembles modern concept of multiple universes. Now, the reason this caught my eye is we've been hearing a lot about Chris Putnam and Tom Horn's book and the information therein about the Lucifer telescope located at the Vatican, in which they claim to have had contact with alien beings and so forth. And the title of that book is Exo Vaticana by Tom Horn and Chris Putnam. Regardless, this article here caught my eye because it is a medieval bishop. He had this theory about the modern concept of multiple universes. It does show that the Catholics have been studying, other universes and alien life and things like that for quite some time. And then, of course, we have all the hype going on about Pope Francis being the false prophet. That's very spiritually significant to Bible prophecy. It says a 13th century bishop theory about the formation of the universe has intriguing parallels with the theory of multiple universes. This was uncovered by the Ordered Universe Project at Durham University, which has brought together researchers from humanities and the sciences in a radically collaborative way. The project explores the conceptual world of Robert Grosseteste, one of the most dazzling minds of his generation, and that was 1170 to 1253. Sometimes Bishop of Lincoln, church reformer, theologian, poet, politician, and one of the first to absorb, teach, and debate new texts on natural phenomena that were becoming available to Western scholars. These texts, principally the natural science of the Greek scholar Aristotle, were translated from Arabic into Latin during the course of the 12th and 13th centuries, along with a wonderful array of material from Islamic and Jewish commentators. They revolutionized the intellectual resources of Western scholars, posing challenges to established ways of thinking. So you can take a look at that article. There's a lot more to it, as you can see as I'm scrolling down. I'll leave the link in my article on Before It's News for you to go and scope out. Now here's another item of interest in case you missed it. It says massive Roman military camp unearthed in Germany. Archaeologists have discovered a massive Roman military camp covering 18 hectares near the town of Thuringia, Germany, which would have been used by a legion of up to 5,000 troops, according to a news report in Science. Researchers discovered the long-lost Roman military base near the town of Hackelbeck in Thuringia, hundreds of kilometers deep in German territory. Its location suggests it was a stopover on the way to invade territory further east. The first contacts between the Romans and the Germanic tribes happened by the late 2nd century BC, when Gaul, Italy, and Hispania were invaded by migrating Germanic tribes. This culminated in military conflict with the armies of the Roman Republic. As Rome expanded to the Rhine and Danube rivers, it incorporated many societies into the empire. The tribal homelands to the north and east emerged collectively in the records as Germania, and there's more to the article. However, interesting find that they found a Roman military camp unearthed in Germany. And finally, ancient Chinese artifacts found to have extremely rare iron compound. And you can see right here, there's a picture of them. It says a new study published in the journal Scientific Reports has revealed that the unusual coating on ancient Chinese tea bowls, known as Jian teaware, is actually an extremely rare form of iron oxide, according to a report in Live Science. Jianware Timuco tea bowls are Chinese stoneware made for domestic use, chiefly during the Song dynasty, 960 to 1279 AD, and into the early 14th century. Jianware was made in Fujian province, first in kilns at Jianan and later at Jianyang, and have long been appreciated in Japan. Indeed, the term Temuco itself is derived from the Japanese pronunciation of the Chinese Tianmu Shan, a mountain where, according to tradition, Japanese Buddhist priests visited a Buddhist temple and acquired some of these bowls to take back to Japan. The Jian tea bowls are fairly uniform in potting, with dark, coarse-grained stoneware bodies and lustrous bluish-black or brownish-black glazes that generally are shot through with brownish streaks likened to hare's fur, oil spots, and partridge spots. Occasionally, as in this fine bowl, the glaze exhibits a multicolor surface, iridescence as light plays across it. And you can see a picture right there. Now, of technological interest, it says ancient equivalent of tablet computer found in Turkey Dig. And you can see the picture right here. It says archaeologists digging at the ancient archaeological site of Yenikapi in Turkey have uncovered a wooden notebook, a Byzantine invention, which they say is the ancient equivalent of a tablet computer. I don't know if you all are familiar. Galaxy has a tablet that's pretty popular right now. Then, of course, you have your iPad. The 1,200-year-old wooden tablet was found in the remains of a ship that sunk in what was once known as Theodosius port in the ancient Constantinople and probably belonged to the ship's captain. The rectangular object opens up like a notebook and has a sliding cover with removable tablets inside on which notes could be taken by using wax. One of the internal levels had spaces in which weights could be inserted and used as an assay balance. Assay balances were used either to determine the content of a precious metal, usually gold, in an alloy, thus establishing the fineness of the latter, usually in carats or percent, or the determination of metal content, usually in percent, in an ore. We call it the miracle of Yenikapi, said the project team member, Associate Professor Ufuk Kokabis. I'm going to let you all guess on that first name there. I'm not going to even try. The sunken ship upon which the notebook was found has been named Yenikapi 12. The ancient wreck was in a good state of preservation, with 60% of the ship still intact. Considering the amphoras in it, the ship's route was the Black Sea. We estimate that it dates back to the 9th century and engaged in trading from Crimea to Chersonesus, said Kokabis. A research team from Istanbul University is working to restore the ship with the aim of having it functional by 2015. And there's a picture. And once again, here's a picture of this tablet. Now, I happen to have an antique, and nobody knows what it is, but it's a box. It's a wooden box with a lid, and you open the lid, and it's got all these different sized holes in it. And then there's another little lid inside with a hook, and you loosen the hook, like a gate hook. You just unloosen it to open it. And then there's this little area in there, and I have no idea what this box was used for, but I keep it because it's just kind of neat. It's kind of like mysterious. What on earth was this thing used for? But it had holes like this, like what you're seeing right here. See how it's smaller, gets bigger, bigger, bigger? That's how the holes are in the box that I have. That's it for now. But back on the original article that I did first about the hellhound, one has to wonder, was that real? Like the one gentleman suggested. He said it seemed like there may be some truth to those old stories, or is it just some big dog or something? I don't really know. Certainly, if they find out that it is indeed real, as in the hellhound, I would venture to say that it could have very well been some type of concoction of the Nephilim. Some hybrid. We know that they did mix DNA. They did all sorts of stuff where they spliced genes and had part humans and part animals. So who knows? I mean, certainly if the thing is that tall, if you stood it up, it'd have to be something weird that's going on. So it's all very interesting, and I love this stuff. Hold on, let's see how tall that thing was. I'm clicking on it here. Let's see. It says that if you stood it on its hind legs, it would have been 7 feet tall. I mean, that's huge. So who knows? I'll try to see, if I can figure out anything on it, if they have an update after they do all this testing on it to find out what on earth this thing was. But do keep that in the back of your mind if it does end up being what they suspect. We do have to look at history. We have to look at biblical history and things to do with the Nephilim because, if this thing was that evil and that huge, it's quite possible, as I just mentioned, it could very well have been some sort of a Nephilim creation, one of their offspring, one of their genetic creations, who knows? I would be interested to find out for sure, and we'll definitely have to follow up on that. Thanks, and I hope you all are having a great weekend. God bless you.